Hey, what's up, guys? Bill the Universe, and I'm going to be doing the chart of Lamelo Ball. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm doing his chart because he's fine. Like, I've got a big crush on him, and first time I saw him, I was like, damn, like, who is that? He is fine. Like, I love Lamelo Ball. If you're already turned off by my opinion of him, then you should probably not listen to this, because I'm about to get kind of nasty a little bit right quick. But he's fine in my opinion. Like, oh my goodness. So first things first, I want to tell you, I did a I did a survey recently, and I looked up all these guys who I know for a fact, like, have a big dick. And, like, I did these porn stars and guys that I've been with in my personal life. Like, I didn't do charts of men who was rumored to have a big dick. I'm talking about men who we know. So that's why I say, like, only porn stars or, like, guys I've been with personally. Stuff like that. So I really wanted to get, like, concrete information, right? And so I actually have, and I'm going to make a video. I'm going to post it up soon. But right now I just have all the numbers. But anyway, every planet has, like, a certain placement that kind of indicates a big dick. And Lamelo Ball has two placements that suggest that. One, his Mars is in... oh, no, that's actually not an indication. It's okay. There's another one. His Mercury is in Porva Falguni. That's a star in Leo. Don't ask me why, but I did the charts of, like, 60 different guys who I know have, like, big, long dicks. And this was, like, the biggest placement for Mercury, or, like, the second biggest placement for Mercury was Leo in Porva Falguni. Mercury in Porva Falguni. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So that's definitely the vibe that I got when I saw him. And looking at this chart, it kind of like confirms it. So you're welcome. Now we know he has a big dick. But we shouldn't be surprised because he's like 6'7". Anyway, the other thing that really caught my attention was just how beautiful he is. Like, oh my God, he's so freaking handsome. And I couldn't help notice that, so I realized his sun is in the star of Magha, which is a star in Leo. So he's a Leo sun. I do Vedic astrology. That's a different kind of astrology. If you're not accustomed to that, hear me out, have an open mind. It's different, but I feel like it's, like, way more accurate, which is why I do Vedic astrology and not Western astrology. So he's born August 22nd. Usually that people would say that makes you a Virgo, but according to Vedic astrology, which is based off of where the constellations currently and accurately are, he's a Leo sun. His birthday is like 5 days before mine. I'm August 27th. He's August 22nd. So that means his sun is being ruled by Ketu. And so when Ketu rules over you, this can make you very thin and very light-skinned for your ethnic background. And it can give you, it's a very feminine star too. So it can give you, like, big lips, like pretty eyes, pretty face, stuff like that. So for example, Timothy Chalamet, his sun is ruled by Ketu also. It's not this placement, but it's another placement ruled by the same energy. And he also is very, very light-skinned. He's very skinny, very, very thin. And he also has, like, a kind of a femininity to him, doesn't he? Especially, like, in his face. And it's funny because, like, when he did that movie, Call Me By Your Name, with Armie Hammer, he was, like, the bottom. So, I felt like he kind of naturally fit that feminine role. So when you look at Lamelo's face, you see a very pretty face with big, full lips and very pretty eyes. So that would be because the very feminine energy of Ketu is ruling over his sun. And it also makes them, very intelligent, very wise. These people are very spiritual too. They like to, they have a very serious side to them. They're actually very chill. Leo can be very egotistical. Leo can have a lot of ego problems, but this part of Leo is more mature. It's a more refined part of Leo. It's very dedicated actually also to family. So don't be surprised if you see this guy being a very, very good leader, a very good a family man when he grows up. Yes, I was going to say something else about Leo. I guess that's about it. Oh, and it's in the second Navamsha of Taurus too, so that's why he has such a pretty face. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so his moon is most likely in Chitra. I don't know for sure because I don't know the exact time, but I do know it's in Virgo, and I'm thinking it is in Chitra. It's the chart is saying Hasta, but it's in the fourth Navamsha, and after the fourth Navamsha, you go into the first Navamsha of the next star. So unless he was born right at midnight on August 22nd, it's likely that he's Chitra. Chitra is ruled by Mars, and Chitra is really good for sports. My father has a Mars ruled moon, and he was a soccer player for the Colombian soccer team like in the 70s. So these men are very, very good at sports, I noticed. And the reason why Mars is really good at sports is for the obvious. It's very competitive. It's Mars is the warrior, right? There's a lot of fight in them, but really what it is that they're endowed with so much energy. They can go on and on. They have a lot of stamina. Chitra also makes you very, very sexy. And no matter if you're a man or a woman, Chitra moon people, they will be usually very sexy. There can be also a bit of ego or a lot of pridefulness associated with that. This guy might be a bit egotistical or very prideful. One, because he's a Leo sun, and also because he's a Chitra moon. This also makes him very intelligent. Like, this could make him very, very intelligent. I would advise him to watch it with the ego if he does talk a lot of shit. Chitra people, because they're ruled by Mars, on one hand, they're very sexy. They have a lot more stamina than most people. They'll be like really, really thin, but then they'll have like more stamina than most people. And you wouldn't think that because they're so scrawny almost. But these people are very, very intelligent. But a lot of times, these people kind of know how to push buttons. They kind of know how to like offend people. Not really because they're mean. It's actually more because they want to kind of push buttons so that they can kind of be seen, So I was watching the Anna Nicole Smith documentary on Netflix the other day, and she was someone who did exactly that. She pushed people's buttons. She said things. She offended people. She was not afraid to cause a commotion. And they do that because they know that that people love to hate, right? So they give them something to hate on, So Chitra men and women are very, very, actually, I hate to say it, but they're actually very smart that way. So don't be surprised if you see a lot more of a Lamelo Ball in the future, not just because he's a very good warrior, but he's also because he might just say things not to intentionally offend people, but to garner attention. So I don't know the time of his birth, so I can't go into the house system. But when you don't know someone's time of birth, it's okay. You can still generate a moon chart for them. So a moon chart is basically when you take their moon placement and make that the first house. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to read his moon chart. And his moon chart, he's got Mars in Scorpio in the third house. That makes him a really, really, really good competitor. Not only does he have his Mars and Scorpio in the third house, which makes him just like a supreme competitor. This guy, if he was in the military, he will fucking kill you. Like, he will go all the way. And third house is competition. Third house is competition, and he has Mars, which is his inner warrior, in the house of competition. If you're gonna have any planet in the third house of competition, it should be Mars. So Mars is actually, and also Mars really thrives in the third house. So, I've never seen him play, but the fact that he's got a Mars ruled sun and his Mars is in the third house of competition, like I would assume that this guy has a lot of stamina and really knows how to go all the way. The other thing I noticed is that he seems to be the youngest of three boys. Now, I don't know if he actually is the youngest, but he seems to be the youngest. Here's the thing. I don't know much about his brothers, and I don't know if they're more popular than him or more successful. I don't know. I really don't know like that much about him. But Leo, which the star of Magha, which is him, he's a Magha's son. I noticed that they a lot of times will be the younger sibling, but they'll be the most successful sibling. And that I have seen time and time again. Julia Roberts is a Magha's moon. She is the youngest, but she's the most successful. I actually have a lot of Magha placements. I'm the youngest, and I guess technically I'm the most successful. I mean, my brother makes more money than him. I mean, my brother makes more money than I do, but he's like shit with money, you know, and I don't make a lot of money, but I'm good with money. And, you know, I own my house, I own my business, you know, so like, Magha Leo men, people, they generally will be the younger of the siblings, but they'll also be the most successful. I would watch out for that because a lot of Magha people, they will generate a lot of haterism from their siblings, and I can attest to that. I know in one Magha man, he told me that, and he's a great guy, and he told him that his brother completely disowned him. And you know what? My brother completely disowned me too. Like, Magha men will generate a lot of hate from older siblings. So I do wish him the best of luck when it comes to that. And the other thing about Magha is, he's got a real fierce chart, actually, now that I'm really looking at it, because Magha is an Ugra Nakshatra. And so what that means is he's capable of doing very cruel things. Now, normally that's a very bad thing, but actually when you're playing sports, you need that edge to really push you. So not only is his sun in a Ugra Nakshatra, which makes him very, very fierce, but his moon is ruled by Mars, which gives him a lot of energy and a very high threshold for competition. And his actual Mars is in the third house of competition. So this is a chart that's kind of like a real winner, you know? His fourth house from his moon, moon is mother. So fourth house from his moon is in Sagittarius, which is very spiritual. And there's Ketu there, which is also very, very spiritual. So this could suggest that his mother is very, very spiritual. His mother might also be from a foreign land or from very far away from where they live, because Sagittarius usually means far away places. And in some cases, I don't think this is true, but I'm just going to say in some cases, when Ketu describes your mom, it could also mean that she might have like a mental illness, or she could have maybe even drug issues, or she could have something like that. But usually it just means that mother's very spiritual. And I would guess that, because not only is Ketu very spiritual, but so is Sagittarius, and that's what he has. Yeah. So here's the thing that's kind of crazy about his chart. I see a lot of fight and I see a lot of potential, but then I see like a little bit of a loss, a little bit of downfall, because 12th house from Saturn is the karka of losses. And what's 12th house from his Saturn is Aries. Aries is the winner. Aries is the first. Aries is the pioneer. So but that's 12th house from his Saturn. So he's a very, very fighting person. He's got a lot of energy. He loves to compete. But at the same time, Aries, which is the first place, which is the winner, is sitting 12th house from his Saturn. So it's like he might be in a team that loses, or he might be ultimately kind of, not like a loser, but like his team loses, right? But he still will be known as this great ball player, because he's got a lot of fierceness in his chart, and he really gives it his all. Now his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So his 10th house, he's got Rahu in the 10th house. Rahu in the 10th house, people, they really want to be famous. I noticed that. There's 3 big indicators for fame: Rahu in the 1st, Rahu in the 10th, and Moon in the 12th. And he has Rahu in the 10th of his moon chart. So this could suggest that he really, really desires to be famous. And when people see him, they see a very attractive person. Now, Jupiter is also in his 10th house. Jupiter is very big. Jupiter is very expansive, right? So what Jupiter like expands whatever it is it's touching. So a 10th house is also the public display. So that means that when people see him, they see Jupiter. And actually, it's funny because when I first saw him, I did see Jupiter. I was like, this guy's a Jupiter person. Like, I can already tell he's a Jupiter man. What star? I have no idea because I don't know what time he was born. But I do see his Jupiter's in his 10th house. Very, very indicative. And, you know, Jupiter is size, right? So he's 6'7". So when people see him, this chart suggests that when the public sees him, they see his size, first and foremost. They also see a very handsome person, a very good looking person. But I got to tell you, when Rahu's in the 10th, that means they're not what they seem. They kind of seem one way in public, but honestly, there's like a more sinister side to them. And the fact that Rahu and Jupiter is sitting 12th house from Venus, that kind of means he has like sinister sexual pleasures as well, because 12th house from Venus is talking about your sexual pleasures. And Rahu, yeah, like Rahu is like Rahu is very beautiful, and so is Jupiter. Jupiter is also very beautiful, and Jupiter is very curvy and voluptuous too. So this means that but it's also in Gemini, so that this could honestly mean that he will have many, many lovers, all very beautiful women, all women who prefer big dicks, which is probably part of why he attracts these certain women. He will attract very curvy women that are very pretty in the face with big round eyes. I noticed that, and these women will a lot of times have curly dark hair. And the other thing I was going to say about kind of like a loss of like glory was that his sun is 12th house from his moon. 12th house from moon, and it's in Leo. Yeah, there can be a little bit of a loss of glory, even though he's a very fierce competitor. You know, he is a very fierce competitor, but there's something that's like, I don't know, there's like I see like a loss of glory for some reason. And the other thing that gave me that was because his Saturn is in the 9th house. Let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So 9th house is like, if we're talking basketball, 9th house would be the Michael Jordan, right? 9th house is higher, like stages in life, the highest stage in life. Like, it's not the CEO, it's the king, like even greater, even more like established, something like that. But it's also like a priest, it's also a pastor, something like that. So he's got Saturn in the 9th house. Saturn restricts. So Saturn is restricting his 9th house activities. This could mean that if he really wants to this could mean that he could have a dream of being like the next Michael Jordan, but Saturn is there. That means he has to like really, 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 truly, and honestly work for it. Like, he has to put all of his time on the court. He has to really, really, really put his time. And he might even have a harder time than others, like getting to that level. He might find that other people are kind of seamlessly pushed to the 9th house level, but him, like, he has to super, super, super earn it. And like, he will not be granted any type of like luck. He has to earn it 100% by himself. So there's actually several indicators of kind of like a loss of glory. And if you're going to get glory, then you're going to like have to earn it, baby. 100% all the way. All right, guys, that's 19 minutes. I think that's pretty good. I love you, Mello. Bye.